Hello everyone. Hopefully we're coming through nice and clear. You can hear me. I can see your texts and your chat. Just making sure final things are in place. Sorry for the delay in getting things started. Got a bit held up doing some stuff. But we're here, we're online, and we are live. And hopefully everyone can hear me. I think so, yes. I think YouTube's a bit delayed, but I can see that's coming through. So hopefully that's all working for everyone. So today is a live stream in make sure my chat's going through, in doing a case study, and we're looking at World of Warcraft today. So hang on, let me get more comfy. I'm not in a comfortable position at the moment. So the whole point of case studies is so we can get a sort of good look at how developers made their certain games. We can look at discuss different ways they could have managed these sort of things. Talk about different systems they made, and going over these certain things that we see in video games every day, but maybe needs a bit explaining behind the scenes of how they're actually made. Now, disclaimer. I haven't worked World of Warcraft. I have no idea how exactly they made everything you see here. I know some stuff. I'm doing research and some guesswork, but ultimately we're looking at pretty much guesstimations of how these things are achieved or how they could be achieved. Some of this stuff could be inspired. It could be inspiration for future videos we do on the channel as well. I know there's a few from this sort of game that I would like to try and do myself. But yes, so what I've got going on at the moment is I've got World of Warcraft open up here on one screen. On the other screen I've got chat. So if you have any questions you want to ask about World of Warcraft, MMORPGs, any of the systems that you see here, I'm going to point a few things out as we go and discuss some ways of how things that I know how Blizzard made certain parts of it, but also some speculation about how they could have done it. Thanks Daniel for the $2 tip. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying the Unreal Engine 4 tutorials. So, where am I? So, World of Warcraft MMORPG, hopefully everyone's heard of it. If you haven't, it's quite historic. It's quite one of the largest ones in the world. And it's been going for about 15 years now. So, the game, where I'm at the moment in my character is I've just recently got back into it, and level 110. I've just literally about starting my campaign in Battle for Azeroth. That's it. That's the one. So just making sure my chat window is working. Hello, Daniel from Twitch. I've got to have two chat windows open, I think, because YouTube's being funny buggers with me today. Let's just break that out. Sorry. Just sort out my chat so I can actually see what people are saying. Cool. Hi, Daniel. Yes, I'm still doing a FIFA 20 giveaway. If you want to apply for that, if you haven't already done so, you can go over to my website, ryanlady.com, look over to the blog, and you'll find a blog post. With do tick, answer a question, and there you have it. You've entered for the prize draw. Winners will be chosen on the 16th of October when the competition closes, and it could be for any platform of your choice. This is a code I've got directly from EA, so big shout out and thank you to EA for providing that code. So, right, so where am I? So I've just literally started Battle for Azeroth campaign. I've just done the big intro cinematic bit with Lord of but nonetheless, we've done that. We're moving on. So we've got a quest system here. So my quest system series I made was heavily inspired by the one you see in World of Warcraft. It's what I took inspiration in when trying to make this sort of system up. So if you haven't seen it before, it looks very similar to my one, except they include a map inside its widget. But essentially it's the same. Okay, with a lot of nice artwork, obviously. So that kind of was inspired from this game as well. Inventory as well is semi-inspired by it as well. So you can see where a lot of my series have come from. So one series that will be coming out at some point down the line will be an ability system series, similar to what you see here, where you can set up abilities to fire off and attack people, enemies to attack you, and you can set up how you want the ability to appear, what the behaviour is going to be, and so forth. So that will be coming at some point. Now, I know from my research that the way Blizzard handle their abilities, hang on, let's just go somewhere rather than hang around Orgrimmar. Let's go to Oldham. Up here, the Oldham portal. So the way they do their ability system in World of Warcraft, it's done by databases, and they actually had to change the database structure between the latest releases and the classic release. So essentially, the way it works is they have a database that stores the spell, and stores what that spell will do, and how much it will do things by. And they have spell IDs, and your spell ID is what's attached to each player. So it's all data driven. It's not client side or anything like that. Now, the benefit of having it on the server as a database is that when Blizzard want to tweak figures, they can just tweak it on the database and it'll work. And that's quite popular sort of solution to a lot of MMO design challenges, is that they keep a lot of data-driven stuff on the server side, so that when they want to make changes, they can easily make changes without having to do any patches or anything like that. And it's not just MMOs that do that same sort of thing. I know for a fact that NetherRealm do it for Mortal Kombat games and their Injustice games. All the damage each of their attacks do in their fighting game, that's all stored server side. So there's no patching required. It just, when it loads up the game, it grabs those figures from the server and just runs the game with them. So it's really good, unintrusive way of handling that problem. So, does World of Warcraft have a crafting system? It doesn't have, technically yes, but no. It's not in the way that you may think so. So the crafting system in World of Warcraft is simply recipes. So you have a blacksmith. So I have these recipes here, and it tells me what I need for it, and I can click create, and it'll create those. These are very simple to do. We'll probably do something similar to this at some point, because it's not that hard really. You just do an inventory query, which is what I showed in my series, and that is then passed through here. That will turn on this create button or not. So it's not too difficult to do. My dragon is flying, so flying characters, if you want to do this in Unreal, it's not hard at all. Your character movement component on the Unreal system has a flying mode attached to it, so you can tell your character that they are flying, and all this is just a different model. So it swaps out the model and it takes the character movement into flying. So you have flight controls, so you can look up, down, and have both three-dimensional controls. So it's relatively simple. The trick is making it look good. That's unbelievable. As with most things with games, a lot of time the code to actually achieve some of these tasks would be mostly down to artwork, to selling it. One quick note, whilst I'm here, I'll show you some cool way they've done this artwork here. So this giant sword thing. So you notice the texture here is sort of moving. Okay, we do that with a panner node, but what's important about the way they do theirs is if you look closely, you see the texture actually changes. It looks like it's living, because it sort of looks like a spine here, and then it sort of breaks and transforms itself up and over. So if you look at this sort of join here, this join slowly turns into what you see up here, and it will split and loop around. There's a way of doing that, and what that is a panner node, but you're messing with the UVs of the actual model itself. So you give them a bit of a squish, so they look like it's attached together like a zip, and then it unzips just through messing around with the UV coordinates in the actual modelling. I might show that at some point. It's quite an interesting way of making something like that look cool. Anyway, so we're flying over here. Daniel's asked, what about World of Warcraft inspires you the most? There's quite a lot, really. I am very fond of the world building. I love the world design, the level design, character design. I love the art style. I like all of that stuff. It does amazing things to make the world feel massive, and an enjoyable place to walk and go through. So you can see my quest system is also inspired by Warcraft. You can see it's pretty much the same as it, just with different artwork. Okie dokie. So Kim's asking, set mode of flying in Unreal. Would you change the velocity to make it move in a direction? So you can make it move. You change its control direction, I would imagine, by the mouse. I haven't tried it before. I guess I'll have to get a crack at it. But essentially, you're taking the mouse inputs and looking at where the mouse is pointing at, and that will be your velocity direction. I'll have a look and see if I can mimic a World of Warcraft flying. So we've got some story stuff going on here. So, being an MMO, we'll wait for this to play. Oh, I've seen this before. We'll skip this. Yeah, you've seen that. Speak to it. Okay, so, hang on, we'll do this. By the way, let me know if the game audio is too loud for you guys. Okay. Okay, we got this. Return. Do that here. Okay. Okay, we do this here. So, yeah, so as I was saying, being an MMO is massively multiplayer online, but notice there's no one else in here, even though there probably are other people doing this sort of thing. So, the way they handle it in World of Warcraft is through a phase system. So, I've entered sort of a semi-instance of this room that is my instance. So, it has a secret ID to it. So, if anyone's in my party, they get that same ID when they enter this sort of area. So, it syncs up. And they use that throughout the whole entire world and the whole entire game. So you can interact with the world and see the world change in front of you. And that was what they introduced that because it was a big criticism of MMORPGs that the world feels static. Because the old way of doing it is, well, you can't really do phasing before. Until Blizzard came along and went, hang on, we figured this out. So it's a really cool way of doing it. Use how I meant to seal. No, don't want that. What seal? This seal? Ah, okay. So, what are we messing with? Gas. Gameplay ability system. That's the one that comes with Unreal. I may do. I'm in an eye whether to go through their one, which involves a bit of C++, or show you how to make one entirely on your own with just blueprints. There's multiple ways of doing it. Obviously, there's multiple ways of doing everything in games. So I'm in an eye which way to go with that for that series. Eventually, I'll do both probably, but until they are finished implementing their ability system in full and proper, because I think I heard somewhere that they're reworking it and retweaking it somewhat to make it a bit more user friendly, because at the moment it's not that user friendly. Kim's asking, so you can click on items on the screen in order to interact with it. In Unreal, would you check what to interact with by doing a line trace, or are there libraries that do this for you? Okay, so if you've got an item on the screen, like you saw there, like a button, and you click on it, and you want that button to only interact with certain things in your world, then all that code would belong to the actual button itself, I'd say. So that button there would then search for all actors of a certain class or certain tag, and it will return an array, which is a list of all those actors, and then you do what you want with them. So in that case, it would look and insert a certain range. So it got all the actors of class, found the one that's closest to it, and pinged it away. That'd be the best way of doing it. Choose my reward. Jesus. Okay. I'll have. They're all the same. Oh no, they're not. So I've got pauldrons. Nice. We'll go for pauldrons. Everyone likes a good shoulder piece. Yes, that's one. Yeah, gas is not easy to pick up. As you correctly experienced. Let's say they should be making it more user friendly, hopefully soon. But yes, it does involve going to C++ and exposing some stuff before you can actually go and use it. So that's why I've been more inclined to do my own system and show you how to do a custom one. It's not much really that different. You just code a few things manually yourself. Maybe just less efficient. So. Oh, by the way, big yawn. Sorry, I got like I think 3 hours sleep last night. Yeah, it was a long night. Okay, so we've got to speak to this Nathanos Brightcaller in Orgrimmar. I've also been playing World of Warcraft Classic. So if you have any questions about Classic, by all means you can ask that as well. May even load that up later on. We'll see what goes on. So Kim, okay, so World of Warcraft is a MMORPG, and you collect quests like here, and you complete quests to level up, and you level up to complete dungeons and raids, and defeat big challenges like big raid bosses and so forth. It's an RPG, so you can do really what you like, but most people complete the quests and do the raids. You get stories as well if you read the quests, but we ain't gonna waste time reading quests. Speak to the war chief. Oh, so apologies for keep yawning. Oh, another cinematic. Bear with. I'm surprised this bit's not voice acted. Okay. So we're off to infiltrate Stormwind. Let's go do that. Oh, got to equip my stuff. Shift right click to view. Okay, so this is the thing for this expansion. So what the devs do for each expansion, they introduce new systems. To much of people's dislike and disdain, the reason why they do that is because they want to introduce things for players to do at endgame. The MMOs have a habit, because you're charging a monthly fee, you want to give something to the player, so they've got something to always to do. So I'm just shifting myself around to get my legs comfy. So these sort of systems are put in place so it basically artificially extends the life of your uh if your game. Thank that's silence my notifiers. I don't know how to silence notifiers. um no, never mind. Ignore my friend messaging me. Yeah, so they artificially extend their lifespan of the MMO RPGs through these systems in place. To much people disdain, so a lot of people don't like it. I'm personally against it because what they keep doing is they introduce a new system and then for the next expansion get rid of that system and put a new one in. And it feels like it's a flavour of the month. What's the gimmick of this one, rather than you building onto the world itself? And when you got an MMORPG, it should all be about world building and developing your character. And it doesn't ever feel like you're developing a character. It feels like you're ticking boxes only for the next list to be coming in on the next expansion and overwriting everything you've just done, making everything you feel like you've accomplished in the prior expansions feel absolutely worthless. Now, the flip side of this is obviously if player doesn't play the game all the way through and just joins late. Oh, hang on, I've got to actually do something here. Oh, push one key. Shift right click. I've got to pick one of these. Just go to. Oh, we'll take Reckless Fury. Okay. So yeah, so if someone joins the game after this last expansion, you don't want them to go back and having to do all those previous systems in order to get the late stuff. So it is a sort of catch-22, and there's probably definitely a way to do it. It just involves a bit more work. Don't want that. I'll leave that. So Daniel's asking, what would you say is the best skill in UE4 to learn as a beginner, preferably something that I can build off of that will become very helpful in future? It depends, Dan, what your focus is. If you want, in sense of making a game, I've got something in works at the moment that will be helpful for you down the line. But if you want to go into artwork, there's a whole artwork, visual effects. You've got particle systems and Niagara and Cascade. Physics. There's quite a few things you want to be. So the best thing to learn in UE4 is just problem solving skills. Everything can be achieved in Unreal just by problem solving, and if you're good at puzzles and riddles and things like that, then you'll get on fine with Unreal, and I think that's the key skill to learn. Let's just go into here, meet my team, go. Hello. Okay. So, yeah. Kieran, does this game have an ending, or does it go on forever? Both, really. There is an ending. Each expansion does have an end boss, which you fight, and you get a cool cutscene at the end, and that's the biggest challenge in the expansion. But after that, you can continue playing and redo that raid over and over again. So essentially, it can go on forever. And it's been going for 15 years straight so far, with new expansions coming out every 2 years or so. So we're expecting a new expansion next year. Now, one of the questions I often get when doing these tutorials and live streams and question times is I often get people saying, "Can you show us how to make an MMORPG?" And there's a good reason why I don't want to show that process. This game has been estimated to have about 5.5 million, maybe 6 million lines of code. It's taken hundreds of people 15 years to get where it is now. So for me to show you how to do it on my own is ridiculous. And I believe there is a YouTube series out there going through the process of making an MMORPG, but I can guarantee that that system is not going to see the light of the day at the end. It's one of those things that you can always keep building on top of, but never actually finish. So, I mean, Blizzard are still doing it 15 years later, so it's never finished. That's why I advise against doing anything like this. This is a ridiculous project to try and do on your own, especially if you're starting to learn Unreal. And if you are having to ask someone to teach you how to make an MMO, then I think you're asking the wrong questions, because if you are having to ask that, then you're not ready to do an MMO. You should only be doing an MMO if you are fluent in how online connectivity and networking works, via client-server relationships, as well as in-depth game systems. All these things that work together. MMORPG is sort of the culmination of being an expert in those fields. So work on something simple first, and then you can work your way up, and you can figure out then how to do an MMO. There's not much really to it. The hard part is the server side stuff, because that's making it optimized with loads of players and making it work with each of them just fine. It will take some time. Okay. Okay, do that. Cool. Okay. By the way, if you haven't already seen, I have announced our 2-year anniversary of the channel. We're doing a special 5-hour or maybe more long event live stream, and the contents of that will be involving all of the types of live streams we do, all in one sitting. So we're going to do all 4. So that's question time, a live UE4 tutorial, a case study, and a making our Zombies Ate My Neighbours game, all in one night, as well as a special 1 hour where I'm just going to try and make a whole game in 1 hour. I'm just going to move quickly through it and just try and make something. That'd be quite cool. And then there's also there's going to be some giveaways, special promotions to celebrate the 2 years, and as well as thanking everyone for supporting me for those 2 years. Sorry, I'm getting comfy. Yeah, you can discuss, pick a game. I'm happy to hear suggestions what kind of games you want me to do walkthroughs or. I've gone the wrong way. Be very useful to see what people would like to see case studies for. So by all means, let me know in the comments what you prefer to see part of the case study. It could be a new game, a game we've done before, or obviously a new one. Ryan, do you prefer vodka with lemonade or Coke? Not a big vodka person, but I'm going to say lemonade. I'm more of a Jack Daniels kind of guy. Cool, these dudes. Okay, so while we're doing combat, I might as well explain how combat works and how they get to work on this. So they have a global tick going on in this game. And the global tick is basically all your abilities. You see this little when I attack, and if I hit a button, they're not always instantaneous. They all trigger on the next global tick. It's a very small window, but most of the time you could notice a little delay in some of your abilities. So that global tick is there to make sure it syncs up. So it's usually the global tick is involved when you're doing something that involves other players or NPCs that other players need to get access to. So the reason why you have something like that is it allows you to sync up with the server and sync up your abilities with other players, which is really cool. They changed that a lot as the series went on to make more instantaneous things, and that was mostly due because everyone's internet back in the day was not that great. But nowadays, everyone's got broadband and high-speed internet, so it's a lot more fluid and a lot faster nowadays. But yeah, in the original release, they had to do it because the internet was slow. So it's quite an interesting thing. So most spells are pretty much instant, I think, in this day, this modern retail release of it. But they have that. Yeah, we could do Arkham. We could, okay, all good suggestions. By means, everyone throw your own hat. What you want to do? That's me not paying attention. I've gone right past the objective. Dead Swine. Oh yeah, that's literally just what I was saying. In the old game, they did batch spells. That's that. Speaking of sync, what is the cost of running a server that can manage a huge player base? A lot. Oh, that's Bill. Hello, Bill. It can be expensive. Mostly down to bandwidth. It's less about the players and more about the bandwidth. So if you manage your game really well, so there's less data transfer, it's a bit cheaper. But it all depends. But yeah, it can be expensive. Blizzards have their own server farms, so obviously they save a lot of cost there, but it's still expensive because they've got to basically power a whole room full of servers, and that takes a lot of power, a lot of cooling, a lot of maintenance, so that is also expensive. Amazon Web Services offer dedicated game servers for gamers, and it's quite a cool system because they will only charge you for the service you use. So it will monitor your bandwidth going out each month or whatever it is, each quarter, and they'll only charge you for the bandwidth you're using. So they'll open up new servers with your code on if your game needs it. So if it is popular and in its peak time, you just pay what you need. Before their system came out, you literally just had to say, I want to pay for 50 servers, and you get 50 servers. If your game has peaked of 50, great, but most of the time it's at 20, then what's the point? That's why when you get on day one game releases, servers are usually crap. That's because they don't purchase enough servers to handle it. And the reason why I don't purchase enough is because it's a waste of money, because most people will log in on the first day and that'll be it. They won't do much more than that. So it's a balancing act. You don't want to piss people off too much, but you want to also manage your costs, and you don't want to buy all these servers if you don't know exactly how many people you're going to get in the off-peak.